KDKA-AM/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
KDKA and KDKA-FM HD2 Pittsburgh. W261AX Pittsburgh.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Aetna Medicare studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
From ABC News, I'm Dave Packer in Southern Idaho.
Today has been a very hard day here in Twin Falls, a tragic day.
Twin Falls Police Chief Matthew Hicks says multiple people are dead after a shooting at an In-N-Out burger restaurant. Hicks says the shooter is dead.
He was nearby on the scene there, and we are working, trying to ascertain his identity and the motivations behind that. We'll be able to figure that out in the next coming days.
And still working to ascertain the exact number of fatalities. A fast-moving wildfire outside Spokane, Washington burned more than 2,000 acres, sparking evacuations. Washington State Governor Bob Ferguson.
When the sun sets and the sun rises in the morning, I think we're going to be in shock to see some of the scenes that emerge out of there.
There are growing concerns over the security of water systems across the U.S. as more states report they've been victim of a suspected cyber attack. ABC's Morgan Norwood tells us more than half a dozen states are now reporting problems.
The scope of the security failure now widening. 9 reported attacks in Michigan as the FBI and EPA warn utility companies that hackers are trying to disrupt service to critical water infrastructure. At least 7 states have reported some kind of incursion. In one case, the hackers were able to change passwords and network settings, preventing operators from controlling the flow of water into the tiny city of Brand, Minnesota.
According to multiple U.S. officials, investigators are looking at whether Iran or any of its proxies were responsible for at least the breaches in Minnesota. But President Trump says he doesn't believe that and blames Governor Tim Walz. The president also says U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro is 100% wrong after she and the Department of Justice moved to drop the case against a former Olympian who had been blamed with damaging the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool when he picked up a piece of peeling paint. In a Friday filing, Pirro said the additional documents that were provided by the Department of the Interior show a botched installation by the contractor caused the damage. You're listening to ABC News.
If you haven't switched to Pure Talk because you're not sure their coverage is every bit as reliable as Big Wireless, why not take them for a test drive? For a limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited data plan. No contracts, no commitments, just a great deal on a high-speed network with unlimited data from an American wireless company. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
These days, heading back to school means more than pencils and notebooks. It means laptops, tablets, online accounts, and a lot of personal information moving across the internet. WebRoot Total Protection gives families powerful online defense tools with antivirus, VPN, cloud backup, identity protection, and more, helping keep your digital life secure throughout the school year and beyond. Go to webroot.com/radio and get 60% off today. That's webroot.com/radio for 60% off. Live a better digital life with WebRoot, because peace of mind shouldn't be optional.
1 week after the deadly car ramming and machete attack in Berlin, Amsterdam, and Hamburg were among the cities holding Pride events Saturday. Also, Stockholm, where Nina Nilsson, a member of a Proud Parents group, took part.
It's a terrible thing that happened in Berlin, and it's even more important now that we stand for what's right.
Festival director Mance Axelsson.
It's really important to show solidarity and show that we want to be louder than the hate we see.
Delta Airlines teaming up with DraftKings for a new form of in-flight entertainment. ABC News transportation reporter Clara McMichael explains.
Delta has rolled out a partnership with DraftKings where passengers can actually make sports prediction picks when they get on their flights. Let's address, first of all, why I'm saying sports prediction picks instead of gambling or betting, and that's because gambling is actually illegal on planes. So that means that there's no money involved here. You don't have to spend your own money, not even miles, to get involved in this. But on the flip side, you also can't win any money, although you could be in line for some Delta gift cards.
UEFA, the governing body of European soccer, declared it has no confidence in FIFA President Gianni Infantino after his failed proposal to sell stakes in the World Cup. Infantino pitched creating a $20 billion company to run the World Cup with private investors, including a key investor group led by Joshua Kushner, the younger brother of President Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner. Dave Packer, ABC News.
Support St. Anthony school programs and help students with special needs achieve their full potential through inclusive education, therapy services, and job skills development, serving students ages 5 to 21 with Down syndrome, autism, and other intellectual disabilities. Find them within select Catholic schools in the Pittsburgh area, including a post-secondary program at Duquesne University. For over 70 years, St. Anthony school programs have empowered students of all faiths to live independently and contribute meaningfully to society. Learn more or donate at stanthonykids.org.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred roofing replacement contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Today brings a humid day with rain and a thunderstorm. Any thunderstorm may be rather gusty with a high of 78. Then an evening thunderstorm gives way to just a shower or two late tonight with a low of 67, followed by another humid day tomorrow with a morning thunderstorm, then some afternoon sun, high 80, leading to a dry Tuesday with some sun, high 83. For AccuWeather, I'm LaTroy Thornton, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
The following is an editorial by KDKA Radio Regional Vice President Michael Spacciapoli.
The more things change, the more they stay the same. Let's take the Pittsburgh Steelers, for example. For the first time in 19 years, they have a new head football coach. That's their fourth head coach since 1969. Their first year at St. Vincent was 1966. Then head coach Bill Austin thought the University of Rhode Island was too far away. So change may still be a constant, but it happens slowly and deliberately with the Steelers. First-year head coach Mike McCarthy knows all too well what Steelers Nation and training in Latrobe is all about. Born and raised in Greenfield, Coach is about as Pittsburgh as you can get. At his introductory press conference, he was overwhelmed with emotion. This is truly his dream job, and despite beating the Steelers in a Super Bowl as the head coach of the Green Bay Packers, no one will ever need to question his allegiance, desire, or love for the city and its great football team. Oh yeah, here we go, Steelers. Here we go.
This has been an editorial by KDKA Radio Regional Vice President Michael Spacciapoli. To view a transcript, go to kdkaradio.com.
Rob Fracks on the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020, KDKA.
All right, we begin with a sad story this Sunday morning. As most of you know, ABC News has been reporting a shooting at a restaurant in southern Idaho yesterday afternoon left multiple people dead and others injured. This according to the police. The shooter was among the dead. Twin Falls Police Chief Matthew Hicks said in a news conference, "We believe the threat to the community is over," Hicks said. He added that he did not yet know exactly how many were killed or wounded, and officials were still in the process of notifying the next of kin. It was a chaotic scene. Before the news conference, Twin Falls County Commissioner Brent Renke and Sheriff Jack Johnson had told him 5 people were hurt. The shooting took place near a busy shopping area. So here we go again. We begin the day with another story of mass violence in America. So why is it that people just feel the need to take, well, this violence as an act of speaking out, stepping up, making some sort of statement, or, well, reaching out for some sort of help? Look, we know that mental illness is a massive problem in America. But what do? We have psychologists and psychiatrists, and we're doing the deep dive every single day with law enforcement at our side, trying to make a difference. So I'm going to ask you this morning, what is the emptiness? What is missing in our society? Why are we so hopelessness when it comes to thinking about survival and trying to do something with your life? Because more times than not, even though many of these killers are simply unhinged and obviously dealing with mental illness, but many of them are, I believe, stable enough to understand that when you go in with the thought process of committing such a violent crime, more times than not, you're not going to come out of that crime alive. And this shooter, evident of that. In other words, they have no respect for human life, but they have equal no respect for their own life. That is a sad story when we live in the greatest country in the world, where every day when you open your eyes to begin another day, you have the chance of creating your own way, making the most out of any opportunity. Whatever your heart desires, whatever your dreams of doing are, you have that chance in America. And you cannot say that about anywhere else in America. or I should say anywhere else, not just in America, but in the world. That's right. Because maybe some people do believe that there are parts of America where there isn't opportunity, but there is. That's why the phrase has been coined for centuries, the land of opportunity, and why so many people try to come into this country on a regular basis. So we need to find a way to restore hope into this country, but we also need to continue to research and understand mental illness. We have to support our police, but it looks as though all we're going to be doing for some time is to continue to pray for the survivors and the lost souls because of these random acts of violence. Just another tragic story in a long line of these stories. From the world of entertainment, Vincent Pastore, a veteran actor who played mobsters and tough guys and was best known for playing Salvador Bonpensiero on The Sopranos, died yesterday at the age of 80. Bob McGowan, who had managed Pastore since his run on The Sopranos, told the Associated Press that he learned of his death Saturday from another client and actor on the show. He said that he had been in his home in New York City's after hadn't been heard from days. That's where they found him. McGowan said he'd been trying to reach Pastore about a possible job. He was the most loyal client, and he was always there to give to charity, McGowan said. And he was a guy that would help anybody, which is rare in this business. Michael Imperioli, a longtime friend and collaborator with Pastore, said on Instagram that it seemed as though that he had known Vinny forever. We did lots of work together and traveled all over the USA, as well as Italy and Australia. Lots of good times, lots of laughs. That's what he had to say about Vincent Pastore. Also in Goodfellas, you may remember. You know, when you think of tough guys in the movies, you have to go back to that group that was there in the 30s with Warner Brothers. Jimmy Cagney, Edward G. Robinson, Humphrey Bogart. I mean, they were the best of the best. And history in life has a way of repeating itself. We saw it with The Godfather, with Al Pacino and Marlon Brando. And let's face it, we've seen so many, Robert De Niro. But those men, James Gandolfini and others, who found their way in that hit series, which really revolutionized the way we watch series today, especially with streaming services, they were a cut above the rest. They were built to play those parts. This series that, well, it's been forever, started back in the mid-'90s, will live on, and it'll be a part of television and entertainment history for years to come. Because it was the relationship, it was friendships, it was people that did things every day, just like most people who do things legally go out and earn a living. And even though what they did was different and very violent, when they came back home, it was family, it was friends, and it was all of the other things that all of us do. But the backdrop was always the violence of the underworld. And make no mistake about it, even though it was shocking and how he left the show when he was taken out by his fellow comrades, Vincent Pastore was a big part of the success of The Sopranos. He had already had a resume of playing these parts, but he will go down in history, television history, as one of the most iconic characters to ever be on the small screen. Vincent Pastore, for all of those years in The Sopranos and so much more work, sadly has passed away at the age of 80. But one thing is for sure, because of his body of work, he will be seen for generations to come. You know, I've talked about this before. I worked so much that I never, ever, ever saw The Sopranos. Never. I just didn't, because I was filling in for everybody, working nonstop, and my schedule was so topsy-turvy that I could not say, okay, I'm going to be home to watch The Sopranos, because I was doing a lot of football on the weekends. I was doing basketball, coaches' shows, television shows. So later in life, when things kind of settled down a little bit and I was raising my kids, I started to watch this show. And I've always liked that type of drama, right? I always have. I mean, when I was a kid watching Bogart and Cagney and Edward G. Robinson and that Warner Brothers brand, when I was at my grandparents' on the weekend, I fell in love with that genre. I mean, it was like, you know, Westerns. It was just something that intrigued me as a young man. The military type of backdrop, too. You know, the war movies, right? But The Sopranos was just so unique and so different. And I just recently watched a podcast with Pete Davidson and Michael Imperioli, the son of James Gandolfini. James Gandolfini's son, Michael Gandolfini, and I must tell you, it was absolutely fantastic. And that young man is going to find his place, and he looks so much like his dad. But when James Gandolfini died back in, I think, 2016, it was just really sad, and it's still kind of hard to come to grips with. But now with Vincent Pastore, you realize how long it's been since The Sopranos have been on television. He passed away at the age of 80. Man, time stands still for no one. But that series truly was timeless, no doubt. Hey, as always, you can listen to us at 100.1 FM, AM 1020 KDKA on that Odyssey app, AUDACY. But you can also watch us online with the KDK video stream presented by Metropolitan Window Company. Just go to KDKRadio.com and click on Watch KDK Radio Livestream. Or now you can just go to our KDK Radio YouTube page to watch everything we are doing in the studios. And don't forget, if you know someone in your community that has done something extraordinary in the past year, nominate them now at KDKRadio.com to be honored at this year's Larry's Hometown Heroes event. Your phone calls are welcome now at 866-391-1020 or NASCO Roofing Instant Access to our shows just a click away. Email us at instantaccess@KDKRadio.com. Good morning. It's your Pratt Pack.
When you need to talk, we're here for you. Always have been. News Radio KDKA.
News Radio KDKA Sports.
Sports brought to you by Coons Quality Foods with 8 locations to serve you a Pittsburgh tradition. Bucks beat the Reds 4-1 yesterday. 2 teams again today in Cincinnati. 1:40 first pitch, 93-7 the Fan. Pirates will be without Ryan O'Hearn. He is out 6 to 8 weeks with a strained quad. And they also picked up a relief pitcher from the Yankees, Camilo Doval. Big story yesterday in baseball. Derek Skubal is headed to Los Angeles to play for the Dodgers. The Steelers announced their 2026 Hall of Fame honor class Saturday. Defensive back J.T. Thomas, offensive lineman and broadcaster Craig Wolfley, and general manager Kevin Colbert will make up the group that will be inducted on September 27th. At Accushore Stadium during a game with the Cincinnati Bengals. Riverhounds defeated Oakland 1-0 last night and through 3 rounds of the Rocket Classic. Davis rallies at 15 under, good for a 1-shot lead. More sports, 937thefan.com.
Julian Gray Associates has the most certified elder law attorneys of any law firm in the nation, right here in Pittsburgh. They also have experienced social workers so that you can prepare a plan to age with dignity that you can afford. Visit grayelderlaw.com.
The KDKA radio text line is driven by Kenny Ross Auto Group. Find your best deal and Pittsburgh's best warranty at kennyross.com.
Suffering from peripheral neuropathy? Learn how over 15,000 sufferers regained their comfort, mobility, and quality of life with Tri-State Neuropathy Center's successful treatment plan that is FDA cleared, non-invasive, and drug-free. Here's Sean Ritchie, DC, and Tri-State's founder, about one of their many satisfied patients.
One thing I've learned about people that get numb with their neuropathy, they have balance issues, just like Bob from Gibsonia. His numbness got so bad, he started to have to shuffle and was starting to have some falls. After completing our FDA-cleared treatment program, he is doing so much better. In fact, he was at his friend's house and he was at the American Legions, and they couldn't believe the difference that they saw in him.
Tri-State Neuropathy Centers help Bob. Let them help you next. Call 724-940-9000 for a free consultation. That's 724-940-9000. Tri-State Neuropathy Centers, the leader in treating peripheral neuropathy. Learn more at marydanston.com.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
Where Pittsburgh comes to talk. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
Hey, 93.7 The Fan, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDK, along with WAMO 107.3, are partnering to support Pittsburgh public school students for the school year by providing stuffed backpacks for the Pittsburgh for Public Schools Back to School event presented by Target Freight Management. You can support by purchasing backpacks or dropping off at a location near you. For details, visit kdkradio.com, brought to you by Rugby Realty and Pittsburgh Regional Transit. All right, so let's talk about this Idaho situation. You know, I think we have to come to grips with something. And it may be a very tough thing to accept, but I think we have gone so far over the edge that this may be a headline that we're going to have to deal with forever. I don't care how old or not so old you are, this may be a part of our country for the rest of the planet's existence. Because I think we have gone so far over the edge, we can't stop it obviously, we can't foresee it. And more importantly, with all the law enforcement and layers of security, and believe me, this is happening in all areas, all walks of life, all communities, has nothing to do with race, religion, or politics. It's just anger, it's hopelessness, it's mental illness. And I think what you're going to see, and it's starting to happen already. I was having a discussion with someone just over the last couple of days about how you basically go through life today. You know, there was a time when, you know, I would go into any populated area. I would go into any crowd. I would go anywhere. Middle of the night, you know, working this shift. For years, I would stop and get gasoline at 3 o'clock in the morning. I have completely refigured my entire life. I don't even walk in the community that I live in now after dark. I just don't do it. And it's a safe community. It's a good community. I just don't do it. Because the world is different now. And I don't know how many of you feel the same way. It has nothing to do with aging because, you know, I'm as elusive and I feel as good as I ever have. And I'm looking forward to a long and healthy retirement. But when you hear stories like this, and there's no really need to get into the name of the place that it happened, okay? Because it happens everywhere. And that's one of the things that affects me when these stories happen. A, the loss of life is the most important thing. But then, sadly, where these places happen, they go to places that have a lot of people, to where they have a chance to do a lot of damage. And to me, that's sad because the backdrop is about the killings for sure, but it always ends up in the news where it happened. Like, I'll be quite honest with you, I don't think it really matters anymore. It just matters to the fact that it is happening. We've seen it at the Tree of Life Synagogue, and I bring that up because, I mean, that's a place of worship. We've seen it in nightclubs. We've seen it at fast food restaurants. We've seen it in grocery stores. We've seen it in schools. We've seen it everywhere. And sadly, when you can't even go to a place of worship and your life is in jeopardy, does that not tell you that this demonic, this evil that is amongst us is so deep-rooted in our society, and these roots are so deep into our society that I don't think we'll be able to pray our way out of it, prevent our way out of it, police our way out of it. I think it's who we are. But what I'm asking you, and I hope somebody has the courage to call in. And if you don't, I get it, because this is a tough topic to discuss. And it's a Sunday morning. People are waking up, first cup of coffee. But it's the biggest story of the day, and I have to talk about it. Do you think there's some demonic stuff behind this? I really believe it, that this evil really is amongst us. And look, I'm a man of faith, but I'm not someone that quotes scripture, and I'm not a person that, you know, basically is always talking about faith and religion and, you know, are you saved? And that's all good. I respect all of that. But I'm just the average person looking for answers that I can't find myself. So why is it that we have so many of these stories, shootings every day, something like this? I mean, I can't even remember the last time we got through a month without something like this happening. And all the layers of security. I mean, you can't have your head on a swivel. I was telling someone the other day, I went through a period here a while back to where I was always thinking, you know, today could be the day. Because there was just so much bad happening in and around the community I call home that I just saw this evil taking place every day. In that sleepy little community that is Beaver County, where growing up, we only had a couple of murders that I can remember, and they were front page news. They were, you know, jaw-dropping. We never dealt with stuff like that. But I wake up every day. I go home every day. I see these stories unfold, or breaking news. And when I saw that yesterday, I went, can't we just get through a weekend? And then I started thinking about all the people that are affected, the employees of this place, the family, obviously, of those who died, those who were injured, how they will take this haunting nightmare with them the rest of their life when a car backfires or someone throws a firecracker or something happens, thunderbolt of lightning, boom, they go right back. Post-traumatic stress will be with them the rest of their life. And the families that do survive, and I talk about this all the time, that look at the pictures and have these memories and have these thoughts. I mean, it's exhausting. It makes you want to move away and go live on an island and never deal with society again. And I am such a person of, wanting to communicate. But I find myself now to where I have no desire to even go out anymore. I don't have any desire to meet and greet people, go to places, hang out. I literally haven't been anywhere other than work and home, family obviously, since 2021, something like that. And the pandemic had a lot to do with it. But now, do you even want to be out and put yourself in a position? And if you're saying, look, you can't live that way because you just don't know. Well, I do know. We're in a society that is full of evil, ugliness, and violence. And I think of how the world has changed in just a few short years, how we have lost so much. We have lost so much of that youthful outlook of, warm summer days and being outside, picnicking, barbecuing, swimming in the pool of your neighbors and just getting together and having block parties and doing things, drive-in movies. Look, it still happens. People still do it. But why do you think another reason for the collapse of retail? Because people do it online now because they feel safer doing it online. They don't want to go out and socialize. They don't want to be in a situation where something could go bad. Just about every community in this region, I could quote you a story where there was some sort of gun violence. Some sort of gun violence. I'm at home last night and people are putting up social media videos of various places that I know after dark. Oh, it's just another typical night, A, B, C, and D. Police sirens, they're out in front of a bar, they're out in front of someone's house, or you have a SWAT team reported to, because of a standoff. I mean, it just doesn't end. From Clairton and Penn Hills, what we've dealt with in recent weeks. McKeesport, I mean, it's like finding bodies, this, that. It's like almost good morning and here now the news, and that's where we go. And we talk about these mass shootings, and you wonder how people just walk around with guns and they just open fire in a place like a restaurant that is one of the most popular in the country, on that side of the country, that you have thousands of people frequenting every day. And if you are the chairman or CEO of any of these companies, especially the larger ones where you're going to have a lot of traffic, a lot of people, it makes you start to think, do I got to hire more security? What do I need to do? And we're having a tough enough time in this country getting people to work. In the last couple of months, 57,000, 27,000, down from 250,000, down from 150,000. So you're sending people to work and they're putting themselves in harm's way. And it's not because of dealing with, the public that maybe didn't get what they wanted as far as their order is concerned. But people actually killing people in broad daylight. It's the Wild West. People killing people in broad daylight. So can somebody explain to me why this is happening? When did this start? Why are people so angry? And has it changed how you really act and really handle life every day? I know it has me. And I'll be quite honest with you. I'm satisfied with this. In the time that I have left on this earth, I'm satisfied with it. Because I know we are never going to be able to go back. As much as I've been saying in years of talking this stuff, this is what we need to do, this is how we can make it better. I have finally come to the grips with the reality of the matter, that this may be a part of the world that we live in forever. Until there is no more planet Earth, this may be what we're going to deal with for the rest of our time on this earth. And we talk about lack of communicating, not getting to know one another. Are we being oversaturated with stuff on the internet? Is it because people don't communicate anymore? They don't sit across from a table and talk to each other anymore. What is it? Not enough love at home. Parents aren't doing their job. I mean, we just recently had a 16-year-old put away for life in Georgia, and his father put away for 15 years because of what his son did. We had the same thing with a family in Michigan. Family, tough love. We can't even discipline our own children. What's going wrong? And obviously, when somebody takes it upon themselves to commit this type of heinous crime, this isn't something that just got into their stream of consciousness. They've been thinking about it for a long time. So give me your thoughts. We got all of our lines available, 866-391-1020. But you're probably like me. You don't have any answers. But we have to talk about it. It's the lead story, and ABC News will have the latest in a couple of minutes. It's your Pratt Pack. Good morning.
Another app for inventory, one for CRM. Oh, don't forget accounting. Wait, which login was that?
Or you could use Odoo, one fully integrated system that does it all without the hassle. Ditch the app overload. Get everything your business needs on one platform. Try Odoo free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Join Rob Pratt every Sunday at 11 a.m. for Black and Gold Sunday, presented by Coons Market, your hometown Pittsburgh grocer. Rob keeps you posted on Pittsburgh sports with 2 hours of exciting talk. That's Black and Gold Sunday, 11 to 1, presented each week by Coons Market.
Did you see that UFO last night?
Is it real or is it AI?
How about the aircraft carrier floating down the river?
Nowadays, it's tough to determine what's legit and what to believe.
I know it's true because it was all over my feed last night.
But when it comes to news, depend on Pittsburgh's original news source since 1920. The voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
From the Aetna Medicare Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. Fast-moving wildfires in Washington state triggered go-now orders for residents in and around Spokane Saturday. A statewide emergency had already been issued due to drought conditions. Governor Bob Ferguson saying he's hopeful that FEMA will help.
We'll, of course, be making sure we maximize any appropriate requests to FEMA and just really appreciate their partnership in the past and look forward to having in the future as well during this really challenging time.
Level 3 evacuation orders issued for anyone in the path of the Old Trails fire and the Fairview Road fire. Multiple people dead after a shooting at an In-N-Out burger restaurant in Twin Falls, Idaho. Police say the shooter is dead. Multiple injured, and they're still working to ascertain the exact number of fatalities. Growing concerns over the security of water systems across the U.S. as more states report they've been victim of a suspected cyber attack. 9 reported attacks in Michigan, at least 7 states reporting some kind of incursion. This is ABC News.
Here's the latest from the KDKA Community Message Board.
Experience Pittsburgh Magazine's long-awaited Ultimate House, open for tours. Explore a stunning luxury showcase home featuring the latest in design, architecture, and innovation, all while supporting the free care fund at UPMC Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh. Odyssey and McGee Women's Research Institute have teamed up for a new women's health podcast. Understudied asks researchers the biggest questions in women's health, and they're finding answers that could change lives around the world. Tune in where you find your podcasts. Sponsored by Genentech. NASCO Roofing takes pride in exceeding customers' expectations. If the recent storms caused you damage, get NASCO on your roof and see why they've satisfied thousands of customers. Call 412-373-2000 for NASCO Roofing.
Details at KDKARadio.com.
Time to get that painting project done that you've been putting off by calling CertaPro Painters. Hi, this is Larry Richard. My first experience more than a decade ago started with a free estimate. They got that done quickly and left the place beautifully cleaned up after a great professional job. And each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. That makes all the difference in the world. You're talking to the owner. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Watch for rain at times and perhaps a gusty thunderstorm, the high 78, with any evening thunderstorms tonight giving way to just a shower or two later and a low of 67. Even a morning thunderstorm for tomorrow before some sun returns, the high 80, with just sunshine and some clouds. For a dry Tuesday, the high 83. For AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist LaTroy Thornton, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
Hi, this is Larry Richard. Join us on the Big K Morning Show Monday, 5:30 until 10. New month, new attitude, and a lot going on. We'll fill you in.
All right, listen, we got about a half hour to go. We're trying to get some new callers in here today, so if you haven't talked to us in a while, we'd love to hear from you. We like our regulars, but we like to mix it up a little bit. So 866-391-1020, talking about the shooting in Idaho, if you had some thoughts on that. Honestly, hopelessness, evil, just anger, obviously mental issues, but I've come to the realization that I don't think we're going to be able to stop it because we have the smartest people in the world trying to figure it out. Obviously, people that have sought out help have gotten help, but there are still so many more that need help. Our suicide numbers are through the roof. That's why I always say, when in doubt, 988, there's someone there 24 hours a day, 365 days a year to help. But it's just because I keep saying over and over in my mind, anybody who is obviously having mental issues will commit a crime like the one we saw in Idaho and others that we've seen so many, week after week, month after month, year after year, have to know in most cases when you go into a place with a gun and you're the lone gunman and you murder multiple people in cold blood and you're there long enough for a response team to get there, more times than not, you will not be going out of there alive. But you still go on this rampage and kill people. And it's just, and then you have young people doing it and you're saying to yourself, you have so much of your life and every day is an opportunity to change it or to make it better. And whether it's, a personal beef or anger with someone who maybe actually has given you, a really tough time. And I try to explain this to my children. There are chapters in your life, right? And when you get older, sadly, that's when you start to realize none of it really matters anymore. And the people that you meet along the way are just a chapter in your life. And you only have a few people when you age out and get to the end of your life who are really part of your life. Even your kids aren't really a part of your life because they create their own life. Your siblings create their own life. They become grandparents. They have their own life. So you're really, in essence, other than if you have a spouse, but let's face it, most relationships, if you're together long enough, you got to carve out your own place so you can keep that relationship together because you can't be in everyone's face 24/7. It just doesn't work. No matter what anybody tells you, it doesn't work. And not that I'm an expert, but anything. You can't eat too much ice cream. You can't drive more than one car. You can't live in more than one house. So excessiveness is just not a healthy way to look at life. So you got to have your own thoughts. You got to have your own private time. You have to be comfortable in your own skin, and you have to learn to live with yourself. And what has happened in a lot of these crimes, because when these people are alone with their thoughts, the anger sets in and they commit heinous crimes. And, you can't get in their head, but you wonder while they're committing it. And once they realize that their fate is sealed and they're in a shootout with local authorities, if they have any remorse or they get to a point to where this is their way of knowing that they're kind of committing suicide, even though they're not pulling the trigger and killing themselves, that they're going to eventually meet their fate. Listen, we've all had moments. We've all had thoughts. We all have anger. We all have times in our life where it just doesn't seem like it's going to get any better. But the thing that you'd like to tell anybody dealing with this, it's another chapter. It's another segment. You won't remember this in a month or two or definitely in a year, and you will start having other problems to deal with. And then you get to an age to where you just don't care anymore because you're aging out and you only have X amount of time on this earth. So whatever. And everybody does stupid things along the way, horrible things along the way, and nobody has the right to judge anybody or to point fingers because 1,000 fingers are pointing back at you. And in the end, no one gets out of this place that is Earth or the planet alive. So you have to be comfortable in your own skin. You have to forgive yourself. You have to move forward. And if there are people, and my parents were great at this, if there are people that literally get under your skin to the point that you can't deal with them, get as far away from them as you can. Because just like another sunrise and like another sunset, there's a whole nother chapter. There's a whole nother group of people just around the bend. Listen, we're not experiments. We're not lab rats. We're human beings, right? And human beings make mistakes. We are born with a free will. We do some good, we do some bad. That's the recipe for life. And in the end, it's the end. So we just have to learn to live together. But I have finally come to the realization that I do not think we will ever be able to stop this violence because we have gone so far over the edge I don't think we're ever going to be able to stop it. So enough on that topic. If you want to discuss it, feel free. All right, a couple of other things, some local news and some politics that have popped up in recent days. And we'll, as we work into the week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, beginning at 6 until 10, we're going to bring some guests in. We're going to talk about this a little bit more. And coming up in just about an hour, I'm going to be talking more about this pension situation. Not so much about Attorney Stephen Zapala and the executive Sarah Innamorato trading barbs over this political oversight and the $1.4 billion unfunded liability in the county's pension system. That's going to work itself out. She's going to do her job. He's going to do his job. But I want to look at the big picture, and that's what I've kind of set aside for between 6:30 and 7. I want to do 2 segments basically talking about why pensions matter and why we need to be concerned that this story is another indication of where we are in our country right now. Look, when you have $38 trillion in debt, and here's the most frightening of all the statistics, along with the job numbers, 57,000 in 1 month, 27,000 in 1 month. Why aren't more people talking about that? Why am I the only one discussing that? That's like red button time. That's like DEFCON. That's like spiraling out of control. We're in an abyss. We're like floating around with no end in sight. How do you expect to add money, create cash flow when you have those numbers? Right? But I'm going to talk about the pension and why the pension is so important and why we are struggling in America today with this pension situation and why people in America need to understand if a person works and does their job, they deserve their pension. But we have to look at different ways to fund pensions. But why these pensions are important after the fact, when people retire and they take that money and they put it into our society. So we're going to get into all of that right after the local news at 6:30 today. Got a couple of other things I want to talk about, including County Exec Sarah Innamorato announcing $1.4 million awarded to 22 municipalities for commercial corridor and neighborhood business improvements. That's a very, very big story. But right now, here she is. First alert forecast, Mary Hours, KDKA. So how was your birthday?
Oh, it was so good. We went to Deep Creek, and the weather was so perfect. So it was nice and relaxing.
That's good. Did you take everybody or just you and the hubby?
It was everybody. So it was the kids, and we actually took the dog, too. So that was actually, I think, our first vacation, just like us four. Normally we go with, like, his parents or, my sister-in-law and them. But, yeah, it was nice. We just kind of went to the lake every day and then went to dinner and then, went indoor swimming at night. And then that was kind of it. It was really, really cool.
Good for you. Good for you. Listen, what kind of dog do you have?
I have a Pomsky.
What's a Pomsky?
He's a Pomeranian and Husky mixed.
One of those designer dogs.
Yeah, so he's almost 11. He'll be 11 in October, and he looks like a little wolf, but he's just like 25 pounds.
What's his name?
Jasper.
That's pretty cool.
Crystal blue eyes.
Yeah, those Huskies do have they intoxicating eyes, do they not?
Yes, yeah, He's funny. He still acts like a puppy, too.
That's good for you. All right, so let me this first alert forecast, 5 days. Temperatures are going to be a little milder, at least for a while, right?
Yeah, today's going to be cooler because we do have rain moving in. So we'll have some scattered showers and thunderstorms. We do have a flood watch that starts at 10 o'clock this morning, and it will go through midnight. So we still could have some areas that get maybe over an inch of rainfall, which could potentially lead to flash flooding. So that's going to be the case through tonight. And then as we get into overnight, we'll have some fog. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy in the low 80s. We're sunny Tuesday in the mid 80s. We do have the chance of rain again midweek. We're back into the upper 80s. And then it's going to be really warm and humid with the chance of storms for the end of the week and into the weekend.
So you have kids of school age now, or at least one?
Both are going to be on the bus this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Wally's going to kindergarten.
So that's pretty cool. So when do they start? I mean, most kids are going back to school within 2 weeks.
I know. We're the 25th, I believe, of August.
When I was a kid growing up, what I used to wait for, I loved the fact when they would cancel school and, you'd hear it on the radio that your school was canceled. It was the greatest thing in the world. Now they have 2-hour delays. I would have loved to have had 2-hour delays when I was a kid.
I know. I always remember watching it go across the screen, wake up early, see, do I have school? And it would just scroll across and it'd say canceled or closed. It was great.
So let me ask you one more thing, Mary Hour. So obviously you could be my daughter. You're a lot younger than me. But when I came to KDKA, I was in my mid-20s. And even to this day, as I approach my 70th year on this earth in January, I still can't believe I'm at KDKA. Do you ever sometimes when you're at Gateway Center think, man, I'm like doing weather on KDKA television?
I do. You know, it's so funny because I always say, like, if somebody told me in high school that I would be on TV at KDKA being a meteorologist, I'd be like, yeah, right. Like, no way. And then, you know, I just go back to when I was in college and I was like, this is what I want to do. Like, this is it. This is what I want to do. And then interning. And when I interned here, I cried when I left because I wanted to come back. And it was just kind of like, you know, you go to your small markets and I was like, I don't want to move away from home. And then when it finally like hits, like, wow, this is I lucked out. I'm very comfortable where I am. Like, I love it here. It's really perfect. I'm like, wow, I did it.
Well, last thing, you know, so I follow certain people because I knew so many people through the years, like in Steubenville and Wheeling and Weirton and all those different Youngstown. And, you know, how they're going to their next job or many have found their way back to Pittsburgh. And I just remember how it was when you were young looking to get that big break, and it just goes by. One thing about once you get in this business and you kind of get a foundation, man, it does go quick, doesn't it?
It does. I think it'll be almost 7 years for me here at KDKA in October.
7?
So I've been doing this for almost, yeah.
Jeez. I mean,
I started in the business in 2013.
And you started where?
In Steubenville, Ohio.
Oh, TOV. Did you really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did, yeah.
You know, that's a great place, man. I mean, I've seen so many people matriculate from that place. It's incredible.
Yeah, it was very well ran. I mean, it was hard. You know, you do the whole blood, sweat, and tears into the first market. And,
right.
You know, there's hard days. I started off reporting while also, you know, being in school for meteorology. So doing it all, like doing it both and MMJing. And I don't ever want to go back to that, but but I
cool.
I do definitely appreciate what Steubenville did for me to set me up for success.
You know, I had a friend who worked at KDK Television behind the scenes, and she always wanted to do weather. So I kind of encouraged her a little bit, and I knew some people in Youngstown. Well, she ended up going to Youngstown, and she is a little bit younger than me, and she is still on the air on the ABC affiliate in Chicago. Tracy Butler, she grew up in the North Hills. Yeah, we're really good.
I know exactly who that is. Yeah.
And it's one of the to this day, I don't know why, but whenever I see somebody taking that next step, or somebody like yourself who has landed and has been here as long as you have, or even my career, I always think of her. And she did Good Morning America for years as well. So it's just a funny business, man, and it goes by quick. But even though it's tough, there's something about it that you just love it, right?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Good stuff. Hey, listen, thanks for chatting today.
Of course, that was fun. Thanks for having me.
Have a great day, okay?
Thanks, you too.
I always feel bad because they get up so early to go on television, and she takes time to call me before she goes on the air. And it's like, give me the 5-day forecast and have a nice day. So every once in a while, I want to have a little extra time. I like to chit-chat. But yeah, I mean, I think of the late, great John Burnett. Obviously, Larry, what he's been able to do, Larry Richard. I've known so many people in this business and all the relationships during our time in the Golden Triangle, people I've worked with here. I watched Ken Rice during the week, and it's just, it's been a great journey, no doubt about it. And what a wonderful brand KDKA is. And there's not a place in the country that you can't go and somebody starts talking broadcasting and you say, oh, yeah, I work at KDK Radio. They know exactly what you're talking about. And Odyssey is doing such a great job with this brand. I love it. All right, let me get a break. Quick look at sports. We'll come back, wrap up the hour. There's Tech Vibe Radio coming up next hour. Then we'll kind of come back, and I'm going to talk about this pension situation. Not so much about what's happening in Allegheny County, but why pensions matter in America more than ever. You don't want to miss that. 7 o'clock, Doug is here. 8 o'clock, Coon's Cooking Hour. 9 o'clock, we got, of course, all sorts of good stuff, including Troy Lampenfeld, certified arborist. We're going to be talking on the Greater Pitt Tree Service Hour about things that you can do to keep your plants and your trees happy and healthy, give you a chance to phone in, and then Accurate Solutions, then the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday Show. Your Pratt Pack Sunday morning, KDKA.
When you need to know, depend on the news leader. At home, in your car, or at work. The voice of Pittsburgh, 100.1 FM, AM 1020, and KDKARadio.com. News Radio, KDKA, Sports.
Sports brought to you by Coons Quality Foods with 8 locations to serve you a Pittsburgh tradition. Bucks beat the Reds 4-1 yesterday. 2 teams again today in Cincinnati. 1:40 first pitch, 93-7 the Fan. Pirates will be without Ryan O'Hearn. He is out 6 to 8 weeks with a strained quad. And they also picked up a relief pitcher from the Yankees, Camilo Duvall. Big story yesterday in baseball. Derek Skubal is headed to Los Angeles to play for the Dodgers. The Steelers announced their 2026 Hall of Fame honor class Saturday. Defensive back J.T. Thomas, offensive lineman and broadcaster Craig Wolfley, and general manager Kevin Colbert will make up the group that will be inducted on September 27th at Accushore Stadium during a game with the Cincinnati Bengals. Riverhounds defeated Oakland 1-0 last night, and through 3 rounds of the Rocket Classic, Davis Rally is at 15 under, good for a 1-shot lead. More sports, 937thefan.com.
Runners, walkers, families, this is your weekend. Friday, August 7th, kick things off at North Park with the Passavant Hospital Foundation 4K and 8K. Fresh air, great course, and a chance to support life-changing care right here at home. On Saturday, August 8th, it's all happening at Graham Park in Cranberry Township. The 5K is now timed, so bring your speed or just enjoy the run. Stick around. The kids' race follows. 2 days, all heart, one incredible cause. Sign up now at PassavantHospitalFoundation.org. See you at the starting line.
Ouch! Checked from behind. Man, that's gotta hurt.
I'd hire Morgan & Morgan if I were them.
What?
Yeah, Dan, America's largest injury law firm. They serve up justice, ice, cold, law. Know what I mean?
I guess.
Their gloves come off when they fight for you.
Okay.
I'm talking a settlement slap shot.
Shouldn't we be talking about the game?
Yeah, Dan. Morgan & Morgan. Proud sponsor of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Offices, Pittsburgh.
Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for buying gas. That's right. You can earn cash back with Upside just for buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside, and just last year, I made nearly $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get cash back? If you like extra cash, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back when you fill your tank. Use promo code SPEED to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code SPEED for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code SPEED for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Summer heat, storms, and heavy rain can put your roof to the test. Don't settle for anything less than expert care. PJ Fitzpatrick brings more than 45 years of experience, and they've earned thousands of 5-star reviews, delivering American-made, CertainTeed premium shingles. Most roofs install in just 1 day, and all come with a lifetime guarantee on materials and labor. Flexible financing makes it easy to protect your home this summer. Visit trustpj.com today.
The 50,000-watt voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
All right, a couple of other headlines, and we'll be doing more on these headlines as they continue to develop these stories during the week when we're back with you all week, 6 to 10, KDKA. So more community development funding. Allegheny County Economic Development awards over $11.5 million supporting 96 local infrastructures and blight removal projects. You see that little final 3 words, blight removal projects? What have I talked about in recent weeks? And again, I'm the only one talking about it. You know, one of the things that we're always wanting to do, we want to rebuild, fix up, get grant money, streetscape programs, storefronts, this and that. Let's put a new face on it. Let's make it look better. Let's put a for rent sign in it. Look, a lot of these river communities, especially where I live, and it's not just in the Beaver Valley, it's in the Mon Valley, it's everywhere, Ohio Valley. That has been the thought process for years. Let's slap a coat of paint on it, put some new bells and whistles on it, put a for rent sign. Let's see if we can get businesses in there. But because of the census numbers, and they are dwindling everywhere. I mean, look at the class size of some of these schools that were once graduating 400 and 500. Now they're graduating 150. You've got multiple schools that are graduating under 100. My thought process is this, and I don't know how you feel about this. I would rather see a company start up and build something as opposed to trying to fix something up. Because when you fix something up and you put a for rent sign, people come in and they pay rent, but it's not their building, not their responsibility. So they don't give it the TLC, the tender loving care that you would. I've gone to communities that I haven't been in a long time, and I've said to people, what has happened here? And people have said to me, Rob, you have to understand, these are transients. These are people that rent. They go from one home to the next, one community to the next, one state to the next. They're not out on the sidewalk for curb appeal looking at their house thinking, I got to fix that shutter, I got to get that window replaced, I got to trim those bushes. They don't care because all they want is a place to put their head at night. That's it. It's not their building. It's not their home. They don't have a stake. No skin in the game, if you will. So I believe with all of the economic development that I believe is coming, and these data centers are in the news, nuclear energy, we've been talking about that. We've been talking about natural gas forever, and I still go back to Nippon and U.S. Steel. I think there's going to be a big movement for industry over the next 10, 15 years in Western Pennsylvania. So I believe to entice buildings, meaning groups to come in and build corporations, businesses and places where people can go and spend money at shops and eateries and have a bank and have a grocery store, you got to knock these buildings down. You got to get rid of them. You got to level them to the ground. You got to plant grass and you got to step away. And what you show prospective people when that ugliness has gone from Main Street, beautiful blue skies, river, rail, and roads. We do have really good roads here, 279, 79, 376. They're all good. What we need to do is to knock down these buildings. I drive through so many communities, and it breaks my heart. Washington County, Beaver County, Allegheny County, Westmoreland County, everywhere, where they were once thriving communities because of manufacturing, because of the people that would come there to get jobs there, who grew up there, who would stay there. But you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 empty buildings side by side, shutters falling off, windows broken, roofs that have basically evaporated that are no longer even there. And they put plywood up on the windows thinking that that solves all the problems, but it only makes it worse. So any money that you can bring forth to level an old building, I mean buildings that have not been occupied for 10, 15, 20 years, that have been old forever, they need to go. It is amazing when I drive through these communities that have actually knocked buildings down and taken whole sides of like Main Street out. It's like night and day. You see people walking a little taller, more smiles on their face. You see more people walking in that community. The only way we are going to rebuild America is from the ground up. But this idea of a fresh coat of paint and a quick fix, it's not going to happen because you're throwing good money after bad money. That's right, because what happens, you put all this money into it, you get a grant, which the government is basically hanging by a thread financially, and we know it. When you do that, somebody moves in, they don't maintain it, they don't take care of it, and you're going from that building to the next because you are the landlord. You've got to maintain these buildings with all of the inside things, the plumbing, the electricity. So you can't really ride herd on a tenant, and the next thing you know, they either decide to move or in the middle of the night, they move without you knowing. So once again, you go in, you put all that money in, and you basically eat, sleep, and repeat because the next person, more times than not, does the exact same thing. So I love the fact that they're talking about blight removal. You have to get rid of these blighted buildings because they simply bring you down. A fresh start, ground up. Hey, give people an opportunity to buy the property and build what they need, or you can build to suit. And you're buying product from local companies. It's a win-win for everyone. All right, stay with us, Tech Vibe Radio. Then we'll be back, and I'm going to talk about pensions in America between 6:30 and 7. You don't want to miss it. It's your Pratt Pack today on KDKA 100.1 FM, AM 1020. Good morning.
The Big K Morning Show with Larry Richards.
And when I went to go back down to the lobby area, the door opened and there was Arnold Schwarzenegger. I stopped and I said, "Looks like you guys are busy. Go ahead." He goes, "Get in." And then Bruno tells Arnold, "I hope I didn't frighten your little friend." I feel like sometimes I'm leading a Forrest Gump type life.
Weekday mornings 5:30 to 10 on the Voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
This is attorney Ed Shenderovich. Have you been injured? You're in pain, frustrated, and don't know what to do. We lawyers know what to do. So in your time of need, other law firms want to charge you 40%, almost half your settlement. A good friend or neighbor would never do that to you. That's why our fee is only 25%, because you are the one who's been injured, and it's your money. And there is never a fee unless we win your case. So call us at 888-98-TWINS. We've got your back, not your wallet.
This is the Duke's Country Song. It's a song about the best mail. It has a yellow lid, and its full name is Duke's Mayonnaise. Get Duke's Mayo in store. It's got twang.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
KDKA and KDKA-FM HD2 Pittsburgh. W261AX Pittsburgh.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Aetna Medicare studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It is 63 degrees at Pittsburgh International at 6 o'clock. I'm Rob Taylor. Allegheny County Police are still investigating after a man was shot multiple times early Saturday morning in McKeesport. The shooting happened around 1 o'clock Saturday morning on Jenny Lynn Street between Spring and Olive Streets. The man was taken to the hospital in stable condition. Pittsburgh police continue to investigate after more than 30 gunshots were fired Friday night in the Hill District. Police say the gunfire happened on Webster Avenue between DeVillers Street and Aaron Street around 11 o'clock Friday night. No one was injured. Vehicles and apartments were struck by the gunfire, however. No arrests have been made in the incident. President Trump says efforts to reach a deal with Iran are failing. Here is ABC's Alex Stone.
President Trump says he is losing faith in Iran's negotiating team, and while he's not completely ruling out a deal to end the war, he says the talks have not gone well.
I'm losing faith in them because they do lie and they do misrepresent.
But the president says a deal could still be reached, as recent polling shows many Americans are increasingly turning against the war. A recent Quinnipiac poll finding 66% of Americans say the war is not worth fighting.
KDK Radio News Time, 6:02. Let's get to the AccuWeather forecast coming up.
Hey, it's Brew. Between my radio show, filming content, editing videos, and trying to stay connected with family, reliable Wi-Fi isn't really optional anymore. I just need it to work. And that's why I like that with Xfinity, you get the most reliable, fiber-powered Wi-Fi with the best equipment at one price for 5 years, guaranteed. No contracts or commitments. Plus, Xfinity makes getting connected simple with same-day Wi-Fi so you can get online in minutes. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Use of fiber or coaxial cable. Learn more at xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi. Xfinity. Imagine that.
Wait, everything on this IHOP value menu is just $6?
I told you it was amazing. A huge plate of pancakes, bacon, and eggs is just $6.
Wow.
There's also French toast, a ham and cheese omelet, and oh, they got a BLT and fries now.
Okay, we're coming here every day.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Feast for just $6 with the IHOP value menu. $7 in some locations, available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Today brings a humid day with rain and a thunderstorm. Any thunderstorm may be rather gusty with a high of 78. Then an evening thunderstorm gives way to just a shower or two late tonight with a low of 67, followed by another humid day tomorrow with a morning thunderstorm, then some afternoon sun, high 80, leading to a dry Tuesday with some sun, high 83. For AccuWeather, I'm LaTroy Thornton, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
News Radio KDKA Sports.
Sports brought to you by Coons Quality Foods with 8 locations to serve you a Pittsburgh tradition. Bucks beat the Reds 4-1 yesterday. 2 teams again today in Cincinnati. 1:40 first pitch, 93-7 the Fan. Pirates will be out without Ryan O'Hearn. He is out 6 to 8 weeks with a strained quad. And they also picked up a relief pitcher from the Yankees, Camilo Doval. Big story yesterday in baseball. Derek Skubal is headed to Los Angeles to play for the Dodgers. The Steelers announced their 2026 Hall of Fame honor class Saturday. Defensive back J.T. Thomas, offensive lineman and broadcaster Craig Wolfley, and general manager Kevin Colbert will make up the group that will be inducted on September 27th at Accushore Stadium during a game with the Cincinnati Bengals. Riverhounds defeated Oakland 1-0 last night and through 3 rounds of the Rocket Classic. Davis Rally is at 15 under, good for a one-shot lead. More sports, 937thefan.com.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
The following program was pre-recorded.
The following is paid for by the Pittsburgh Technology Council. Information on the program is intended to solely further the public's general knowledge about the product. Opinions expressed should not be relied upon for any purpose by any member of the audience. News Radio KDKA does not guarantee the accuracy of any of the information aired on the following program.
Studio Me Productions is a full-service video production company based in Pittsburgh. It offers custom video production services, podcast studio rentals, and communication studio build-outs. Choosing Studio Me Productions means investing in a partnership that values creativity and delivers results that exceed expectations. With a deep understanding of marketing and storytelling, Studio Me ensures your project will captivate and engage your viewers. Learn more at StudioMeProductions.com. That's StudioMeProductions.com.
A strong work culture is the invisible force that binds employees to each other, to the company, and to their work. It's linked to better business outcomes, happier employees, and increased retention. How we work and where we work continue to evolve in almost every way, yet our human need for connection and purpose remains. Help your employees connect and thrive by evolving your culture to support your team, regardless of how or where they work. So discover how the Kindling Culture Agency can transform your company's culture at sparksomething.big.com. That's the Kindling Culture Agency at sparksomething.big.com.
CompuNetics is the leading developer of unified voice, video, and data collaboration and conferencing applications for the service provider, government, and unique workflow applications. The Summit Olympus and Evergreen platforms, driven by their encrypted user interfaces, enable powerful and secure collaboration. Combined with world-class support and innovative professional services, CompuNetics delivers the right solution every time. Learn more at compunetics.com.
This is Tech Vibe Radio, your front row seat to Pittsburgh technology and innovation ecosystem. Tech Vibe is brought to you by CompuNetics at compunetics.com, Huntington Bank at huntington.com, Kindling Culture Agency at thekindlingcultureagency.com, Mind Benefit Advisor at mindbenefitadvisor.com, PNC Bank at pnc.com, Savior at savior.com, and Studio Me at studiomeproductions.com. Coming to you from the Huntington Bank studio, here's your host, Jonathan Kirsting from the Pittsburgh Technology Council.
Jonathan Kirsting here with the Pittsburgh Technology Council, bringing you Tech Vibe.
I talk to the best people in Pittsburgh, the smartest people in Pittsburgh. And today, I don't know, I'm very excited about our conversation today because we're going to be looking around AI and hiring. I mean, of course, AI is involved with everything. You can't escape it. It's just the way things roll. But I have Jen Frazier here from Prequel Solutions, and she wrote this really cool article for TEQ Magazine that I thought was just so helpful for people out there who are hiring. And it's a very tough market when you're trying to hire people and you just see all these resumes coming in. You're trying to qualify people. You don't know who's real and who's not. And today we have this conversation that really is going to talk about some of the mistakes that happen around this, really how AI is weakening these signals that we would normally get through the normal hiring process because things are changing so much. Looking at ways you can really assess talent out there. Jen, you put together a lot of things for us. I'm excited to dive into it today. So thanks for hanging out with me today.
Awesome.
It's going to be a ton of fun. Yeah. Before we jump into it, first off, Prequel Solutions. You guys do a great job out there. I look at what our ecosystem needs and its talent, and you help companies find that talent. Give them a little pitch for what Prequel does and how you've been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, you are an expert in this, without a doubt.
Yeah, so Prequel Solutions has been in business for over 20 years. The beginning of 2024, we bought out the rest of the equity of the prior owners and really transitioned the company into a workforce solutions firm, right? So we wanted to elevate the experience. Our core focus is still recruiting and staffing, and that looks like from a contract or project type based hiring, contract to hire, direct hire. But we've also added to our services, which is compensation benchmarking. And we also have a small vertical focused on managed services as well.
Very cool.
So really trying to elevate out of just focusing on the traditional recruiting and staffing, really elevate the experience, verify, make sure that we validate candidates, and we have a whole process that we have built out. So it's been pretty cool, and I'm excited.
Yeah, first off, it's a type of service where companies just need this. It's as simple as that. I just feel like you play this role within a company that is absolutely vital. It's the people. That's what makes a company run, and getting the right people with the right skills at the right time is something that we cannot take for granted. And that's why I'm always like, you got to bring the pros on for this, especially with many of our companies I see at the Tech Council. I mean, they have an HR department, kind of. It's like people all chip in.
Yeah.
And so being able to bring in that dedicated resource to make sure you get the right talent to grow is just so important. And the way you're able to bring all these different services into play really accentuates everything. So it kind of becomes turnkey, I think, in some way.
And you have to build a reputation, right?
100%, yeah.
I mean, whatever relationship you have, whether it's in business or friends, like you have to be a good person. You have to have a good company. You have to provide quality service, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And that makes a difference. So.
All day long. Simple as that. People, so important. This is why you put this article together for me. When I read this, I was like, Jen, you got to come into the Huntington Bank studios and talk about this, because I think when we have conversations around some of these articles, it brings it to life in so many more ways. Of course, I have a link to the article in this podcast as well, too, just so people want to go and actually read it and kind of pick up the notes on it. I think is really important. It's a great, kind of like an accompanying piece to our conversation that we're going to have here today. But the big thing for me was that I kept thinking that, of course, AI makes everything so much easier. But you're saying it doesn't really make it easier at first, that it's really diluted these traditional signals that we would get, that we would actually be able to qualify a candidate because we knew AI wasn't helping them take a test. It wasn't helping them polish their resume to say things that maybe it shouldn't be saying. Right. And so walk me through the genesis of this article, because obviously this is what you're seeing in your work every day, because this is what you do 24/7. So you see it every day.
Yeah, it's really interesting because it's fascinating. I mean, you and I talked about we're old enough now to have been before technology was really a thing, right? Yeah. I mean, we talked about Google Maps before GPS, and so it's very interesting to watch technology, how it has evolved, right?
Yes.
And AI, right, has come about, in the past 4 or 5 years. It's really ramped up in the past couple of years. Yeah. And most people people think, oh, this is great. It's going to speed up our hiring process. And that's really not the case. It really, what it does is adds more risks into the hiring process, right?
And that's what really got my attention, was the idea that it's adding these risks, which is why I'm so glad we're talking about that. Because I think, like, I'm like the typical person where it's like, I got to hire some people. Yeah, I can sort the resumes faster. This is great, you know, and realizing that someone has things in their resume that maybe are kind of true, but maybe screw you in the end, because when you bring that person on, they don't have that skill that at the level that they think they do.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, everybody's using AI for a resume, right? I mean, it's easy. Use AI, it'll draft a resume for you. And that's great.
Especially like you can have AI draft that resume based upon that job description.
Right.
You feed that in and say, hey, make this match.
Right.
Boom, you have it. And you're like, yeah, I'm ready to go.
Right. It speeds up on the candidate side. Hey, I could create a resume now in 2 seconds versus maybe hiring somebody or like spending hours of doing your own resume.
Absolutely.
Right. But the rule of thumb is don't put something in your resume that you obviously don't have experience with. Right. Look at the job description and incorporate it if you actually have done it. Put it in your resume, but don't put things in your resume that you don't have experience with.
But then on the employer side, then when a lot of folks were using AI in order to sort through resumes and things like that, that's where things can go very wrong as well too, when you're using AI as the person that's hiring. So dig into that with me a little bit.
There's all of these tools out there where you could like scan resumes. People apply to a job position and you have an AI or some type of bot that's scanning for resumes, right? That's the first piece, right? And good candidates could get overlooked. So there's that area. But hiring and bringing on people to your company, there's always an element of judgment, right?
Yes.
So you can't remove that human judgment
I
call.
like you said that you can't remove the human judgment call, Mac. That's so true.
Right.
Yeah.
I would say AI has sped up the interview process to a certain extent, but then on the flip side of it is really slowed down the hiring process because maybe resumes are overinflated. A candidate gets into an interview and you could use AI to support your interviewing. I mean,
I never thought about that. So if you're doing like a remote interview, you could easily have AI listening and then suggesting responses.
That's right. They have a prompt and it listens and it'll tell candidates, hey, the interviewer asked this question and this is how you should respond. So there's that element that comes in. So really the shift has become looking at what is real, right? I mean, that's what AI has introduced. Like what you're seeing and who you're interviewing, is that real? Is it an authentic person? Is it a real resume? Do they have real experience?
Right. So what we really got to talk about is the assessment side of this. I think that becomes so important, being able to do the assessments so you can make sure as a human that this human is going to do the things that you need them to be able to do. But I also know with a lot of online assessments, once again, AI can be helpful. So how do we get around this? Because I know what assessments is one of the big things that you get that prequel has really kind of built its success on.
Yeah, that's one of our processes that we've put in place is assessments.
Okay.
But that's just one part of it, right? When it comes to assessments, I mean, honestly, candidates could leverage AI more than companies probably realize. So my advice to companies is really building out a process that is more effective, that does validation and verification. And that's one of the things that we do at Prequel, right? We validate, verify, do a full interview before even sending the candidate over. When we have a nice little snippet interview, so you could actually see the candidate talking.
Back up. That's really cool. So as you do your pre-interview, you're actually then sharing some of the better moments or worse moments maybe, or suspect moments that you can then share with the employer ahead of time. That's very interesting.
So it's very diligent, right, in our process. And I recommend all companies do that, right? Whether they go with Prequel or somebody else, you really need to front load the beginning part of your interview process and really build in validation and verification so you're not wasting time, right?
Exactly. Wait, first off, you say wasting time. This is a big factor. I know I see this with so many of our members where they're scaling fast. They need to hire sometimes 5, 10 folks, and they don't have a long runway to sometimes hire folks.
Yep.
And so you're kind of in this dilemma of you want to hire well, but you want to hire fast.
Yep.
And all this validation can seem, oh, it's just going to slow me down. But at the same time, I think you can do this in a reasonable time frame while still guaranteeing that you get the right candidate. Because I think getting the wrong candidate is just worse than taking an extra couple weeks or a week in order to go through some of this ahead of time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And when I say companies need to really validate and verify candidates and build out that process, because that's what clients are asking us. They're asking us for speed, right? But they also want confidence in who they're interviewing, that it's the real person. So if you build out a good process, I'm not going to give all of our processes out on this, but if you build it out, it actually speeds up the hiring process. And it gives us more confidence, it gives clients more confidence, and speeds up the process at the end. And I don't want companies to get confused with when I say you need to build out a good process and really do due diligence and verify and validate candidates.
Okay.
I don't want that to be confused with a complicated process or a lengthy process, because all of this could be done in 3 steps. Three.
I like hearing that. Okay.
You condense it. You know, so that's the one thing, because a lot of people think, oh, well, I have to do all these, like, check the boxes, and now I'm going to build out 6 interviews, or I'm going to build out 5 steps to, like, getting to the right candidate. That's just, it's too much. So you could get to authentic, real candidate much quicker if you have a good process.
Process is the key. And this always brings me back to the fact as to why when you're doing something as important as hiring for your company is, I just feel like you got to bring the pros in for it. To me, it's a cost of doing business, and it's money well spent. That's just how I look at it, because if I were running my own business, I'd be like, I might want to bring the pros in for this.
Yeah, we have over 40 years of expertise built out at Prequel, a very talented team that we have, and it's something I don't even think about, right? I've been doing this for over 16 years now, and it's just second nature. I don't.
It's in your blood.
I don't even like talking about this stuff, because I'm like, it's just
I love it.
an everyday thing for me, right?
Absolutely.
So,
yeah. And so really, as I think about all this, so the idea of being able to first get the right candidates in there, knowing that you can kind of skate through some of the puffery of the AI resume, for lack of a better term, then being able to then bring that candidate in and then assess them properly so you know that they have the right skills. I think as you do these things, and as you say, you can do this now in a process that's not taking forever, so you can hire quickly and hire accurately. And at the end of the day, then, this is just something that saves your company money and time, because time is money. And I think about the consequences of not hiring the right person and what that can mean. It could throw a whole project off, if not ruin it, I think, as far as I'm concerned. Am I correct in my assumptions here?
100%. I mean, whether you're hiring for project work, contract, or direct hire, I mean, it doesn't matter. Bringing the right person into your team and hiring the right person, you want to get that right, because, to your point, it derails projects, it frustrates teams, it adds compliance issues. There are many issues that pop up if you don't have the right candidate in the right seat.
Yeah.
And most importantly, it saves money. Right.
That's what it's all about.
Time and money.
Time and money. Those are these are the two things that I think just drive a business at the end of the day. And it also, I always come back to, people are your most important asset at any business, bar none.
100%. And that's not going to change, right? Ever. I mean, a lot of people are afraid that AI is going to take their job, and it's not. So.
let's talk more about that as well too. That's something that I think, as you said before, if we started this whole thing off, is that everyone's using AI. It's not going anywhere, as we know. It's only going to proliferate more. How do you see things evolving in your industry with AI right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's not going away, so you have to embrace it, right? And I think the more you dive in to AI, learn it, leverage it, and get really good at it. And that's the key. You have to get really good at it. And just like anything else, I think it definitely gives everybody an advantage, whether you're in leadership, finance, marketing.
Exactly.
It's going to speed up our work. It's just not going to go anywhere. And so
I'm embracing it with a big wet kiss, because I'm just like, I mean, I use it for so many things. And I just look at like how it can be used for good. But I love the fact that we have talked about how it can also evade some things.
There's good and bad.
It's good and bad.
Yeah,
so.
and it definitely speeds up efficiencies. Just the resume. Take a resume, for example. I mean, it was painstaking. A lot of people had, I got to do a resume. Did you get your resume done? No. So
you can do it in about 5 seconds now.
Right. So and most people don't want to scam the system, or they don't want to circumvent the system, right? But there's always folks out there that...
It's going to happen. It's called human nature. It's called the world we live in.
Right. So that's what you have to protect against. That's the bad side of it, right? But I think as this goes on, we're smart as humans, and, you embrace it and figure out how to work with it.
We keep adapting, which I always just find so amazing to me. Is I always feel like the human's going to bat last. You know what I mean? It's just, we always find a way to adapt around something, and we tend to use it for good, mostly, which is something that I don't know, that goes down a whole other rabbit hole. I'm just so glad we had this conversation just to look at some of these basic things. And I think the article's a great primer as well too. I really encourage everyone, if this conversation is getting you, go into the article. You bring up some more points in there that I think are very salient and things that you got to be thinking about. Because I'm seeing so many of our member companies here at the Tech Council, they're hiring. They are hiring, and I love it. First of all, I just love it because I love seeing the gears of capitalism working, where we got a project, we're bringing people on, we got to bring them on in a timely fashion. We need the right people at the right time. And there's great services like what Prequel has in order to make that happen. And AI is helping in some ways, but it's also
complicating
things. And so being able to recognize that it's complicating, I think kind of unknots it a little bit. So thanks for helping us unknot just a little bit of this, Jen.
Thanks for having me.
It's so much fun stuff. I really encourage everyone, if you have hiring needs out there, if you're not sure what moves to make, talk to Jen. Just give her a call. She's happy to talk to you, and you can learn so much just from a conversation. So Jen.
Yeah.
You're the best,
absolutely.
Yeah, so much fun having you here today in the Huntington Bank studios. I have learned so much. And I tell everyone, keep coming back for more content like this. We love educating people so they can build a better business and get their tech company up and running. Because our motto here is we help tech companies succeed. Without people, you don't go too far. So Jen,
that's right.
You're the best.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And in case you forgot, this is Jonathan Kirsting with the Pittsburgh Technology Council, and I cannot wait to see you on the next Tech Vibe. Compunetics is the leading developer of unified voice, video, and data collaboration and conferencing applications for the service provider, government, and unique workflow applications. The Summit Olympus and Evergreen platforms, driven by their encrypted user interfaces, enable powerful and secure collaboration. Combined with world-class support and innovative professional services, Compunetics delivers the right solution every time. Learn more at compunetics.com.
Thanks for geeking out with us on Tech Vibe Radio. Tune in next Sunday for more tech and innovation stories right here from Pittsburgh. Get Tech Vibe wherever you get your podcasts and never miss a show.
Tech Vibe is brought to you by the generous support of Compunetics at compunetics.com, Chorus Call at choruscall.com, Highmark at highmark.com, Huntington Bank at huntington.com, the Kindling Culture Agency at thekindlingagency.com, PNC Bank at pnc.com, Savior at savior.com, and Studio Me at studiomeproductions.com. Tech Vibe proudly broadcasts from the Huntington Bank Studios.
The preceding was paid for by the Pittsburgh Technology Council. Information on the program was intended to solely further the public's general knowledge about the product. Opinions expressed should not be relied upon for any purpose by any member of the audience. News Radio KDKA does not guarantee the accuracy of any of the information heard on the preceding program.
There's a world of opportunity out there, beyond the typical 9 to 5, where purpose and grit come together, where the American spirit and ingenuity are welcomed in places that could really use your skills and your experience. We're talking about the Peace Corps. With volunteers living and working in communities around the globe. And it's been called the toughest job you'll ever love. Tough, because it asks so much of you. To dig deeper, get your hands dirty, to go that extra mile, to rise to the occasion and meet challenges head on. And the love part comes from being part of something bigger than yourself. From building bonds that last a lifetime. It's knowing your hard work transformed lives, including your own. After 65 years, the Peace Corps is still the toughest job you'll ever love. Explore opportunities in more than 60 countries. Learn about benefits and apply at peacecorps.gov/serve.
They came from every corner of the country, from small towns and big cities. But they all shared one thing in common. They belonged to a family called Marines, a tough and determined few dedicated to protecting everything we hold sacred. And still, they come. Celebrate the history of those proud few who have earned the title Marine.
Battles aren't won solely on the field. That's a common misconception. Battles are won within, over enemies of fear, enemies of doubt. In that place where promises are kept. Promises to oneself.
This is a physical training event!
Promises to one's community.
Helping people move debris out of their house.
Promises to one's country. In the heart of every Marine, you'll find a promise.